Hey everybody, today we've got the best case scenario for the Democrats in the upcoming governor's elections. We'll do the Republicans probably tomorrow, but today it's just going to be for the Dems, and I last took a look at this several months ago, so it's time for an update. Now we have gotten through some more primaries, but overall I can't say a whole lot has changed. We're still more than 2 months out from the election. There's plenty of time for the national environment to take shape and potentially a red or a blue wave emerging. But we've only got 11 seats up for election, and this is just going to be the best reasonable case scenario. So that means in the direction of a blue wave, but not anything unrealistic like a blue tsunami. So let's go through the states one at a time. Let's go west coast to east, and we'll start in the evergreen state, Washington. And now we've got our two nominees. We've got Attorney General of Washington, Bob Ferguson for the Dems, and it's going to be former U.S. Rep. Dave Reichert for the Republicans. They advanced from the top two primary to the general. It's a blue state, but it is an open seat as Jay Inslee is out of there. Republicans have had no success here for the governor's mansion in many decades. This is likely to go blue on a regular environment, but in any kind of a blue wave, this is easily going to be safe for Ferguson. Nearby, we've got Montana, and this is incumbent Republican Greg Gianforte running against Ryan Busse. Even though prior to Gianforte, Democrats won 4 consecutive governor's elections in this state, Gianforte looks like he's going to be tough to take down. There's time for something to develop, but Gianforte is the incumbent. He's not horribly unpopular. There's going to be increased turnout for the presidential election. For now, in a blue wave, I still think Gianforte would be favored, but I think we could say Busse would be able to get the margin down under 10, so we're going to put this at likely for Gianforte. South of there, we've got Utah, and this has popular incumbent Spencer Cox running for term number 2. Democrats don't have much of a bench here. However, Republican Phil Lyman, who lost to Spencer Cox in that GOP primary, he is pushing a write-in campaign in the general election. I don't expect it to do a whole lot at this point, but if you consider that, as well as the Democrat Bruce King and the other third-party candidates, I still think even on a good night for the Dems, the incumbent Spencer Cox would still win this by more than 10 points. It could even be much higher than that, so it is going to stay safe. Now we go back up northeast to North Dakota, and we've got an open seat this time, so in theory it should be a little bit more competitive. It's going to be U.S. Representative Kelly Armstrong for the Republicans going up against Merrill Pepcorn for the Democrats. And like the Republicans in Washington, Democrats have a drought of success here for many decades for the governor's mansion, unless some kind of a major scandal emerges or the dynamics of the race change significantly, and there always is that possibility. But for now, this is going to still stay safe for the GOP. Next, we go a little bit east and south to Missouri. Now the showdown is set between Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe for the Republicans and State Representative Crystal Quaid for the Democrats. And given it's an open seat, my expectations are going to be a little different. 4 years ago, incumbent Mike Parson won by over 16 points. I expect Kehoe to win comfortably, but in a blue wave, maybe something happens. Quaid runs a strong campaign and Kehoe falters a little bit, so that's going to take this margin down to likely for the Republicans. Now we go to Indiana, and we've got another open seat. This is Senator Mike Braun for the Republicans and former Superintendent of Public Instruction, as well as former Republican Jennifer McCormick for the Democrats. Given the overall lean of the state, Braun seems heavily favored, but again, because it's an open seat, and maybe because it's a former Republican in the race, that changes things a little bit. There's also the same Libertarian candidate on the ballot as the last election, and in that one, they did crack double digits. In a blue wave, I'm going to also say this gets down under 10 and goes likely for Braun, the Republican. In West Virginia, it's another open seat between Patrick Morrisey, the Republican, and Steve Williams, the Democrat. Given how red the state has gotten, I think it's going to be an extremely uphill climb for almost any Democrat in this race, except for possibly Joe Manchin. But in this matchup, I think even in the best case scenario for the Dems, it's going to stay over 10 and go safe for the Republicans. And further east, let's also knock off Delaware. This is already a blue state. In this environment, it's going to easily stay way over 10 for the Democrats. Now let's go to the northeast. Let's take a look at New Hampshire. Here's yet again another open seat. Still got a primary coming up for both sides. For right now, it looks a little bit more likely it's going to be Joyce Craig for the Democrats. She is considered the more moderate candidate. The Republicans are likely to put up former U.S. Senator Kelly Ayotte. In the general election, it could be competitive. In a blue wave, I do think this could flip, so the Dems are actually going to flip this and get it by an under 5-point lean margin. Next door, we've got Vermont, and now we've got our nominees, incumbent Republican Phil Scott for the Republicans, Esther Charleston for the Democrats. Scott has been the most popular governor in an otherwise blue state. They know him there, they love him. It might seem crazy, but in a blue wave, this state is still going to stay safe for the Republicans. The last state is going to be North Carolina. This is the big matchup between Attorney General Josh Stein for the Dems and Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson for the GOP. I think it's easily still too early to make a final call. The more recent polling has shown Stein in the lead a couple of times by 10 points. That to me seems a little bit unreasonable. However, Robinson is considered more controversial. In this scenario, Democrats are not going to be looking to make a change in the governor's mansion. They're going to hold it, and Robinson is going to flop, top, he's going to be unable to connect with voters and deal with some of the past statements he's made. Stein is going to look much more level-headed. That is going to get this margin over 5 points for Stein. Could even get up to high single digits, but for now I would say it's between 6 and 7.5 points and go likely for Stein. So that's it. Democrats come out with 4 seats, Republicans come out with 7. Only one state would flip, that's going to be New Hampshire. Democrats with a pickup there, and they would hold the key state of North Carolina. After that, Democrats really don't have anywhere to expand. They would have to get extremely lucky in Montana, Missouri, or Indiana. They have to hope those Republicans are plagued with some sort of a scandal and the Democrats run super strong campaigns. It's not impossible, just unlikely. So that's it for now. We're going to update this as we go. Again, we still don't know what the national environment is actually going to be like just yet, but let me know in the comments, what do you think about this best case scenario map for the Democrats in the governor's elections? Do you agree with these ratings, or would you make a couple of changes? Are there any dark horse states that are under the radar? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.